And the U.S. Department of Energy is taking precautions because of Winter Storm Fern. The department is ordering U.S. grid operators to make backup electricity generation available from facilities such as data centers. This is in case Fern causes the feared power outages. United States Undersecretary of Energy Alex Fitzsimmons joins me. Nice to see you.
It's great to be here with you.
So my colleague says 1/10 of an inch of ice on these power lines, and the power lines go down.
That's right, absolutely. So I think first and foremost, as you pointed out, Winter Storm Fern is a severe weather event that will impact more than 200 million Americans across the country. And under President Trump's leadership, we are using all of the available tools at our disposal to minimize and mitigate power outages and save lives.
All right, well, Mother Nature, you can't beat Mother Nature. I don't care who the president is. I mean, she's got the upper hand in all of this. We've seen terrible ice storms, but is it possible? I mean, obviously, it's not a good time to be asking this, but is it possible that you, besides burying these power lines, that you can winterize them so that when we do have these catastrophic events, that we're not seeing the wires go down, the trees taking the wires down?
I think there's a lot of things that we can do, both at the federal level and the state and local level. And so a few examples of that. First and foremost, DOE is in close coordination with our energy industry partners who are pre-positioning 50,000 personnel across 36 states. I think as you mentioned in your lead-in there to the segment, we are also, Secretary Wright has just yesterday issued a letter to all of the nation's grid operators and is prepared to issue an order to leverage more than 35 gigawatts of backup power that's at data centers and other major industrial sites. This is capacity, mostly diesel generators that sit idle the vast majority of the time, but could and should be used in situations like this to stabilize the grid.
All right, well, if you have all this extra energy, but if the wire goes down next to your house from a tree, it's not going to do you much good, is it?
No, certainly not. And that is why, as the Sector Risk Management Agency for the energy sector, we're in constant discussions with the energy sector owners and operators. I was on a call this morning with them. We're having daily updates, almost on an hourly basis, situational reports, working at the distribution level, because you're right, that is where a lot of the ice that's going to move across the southeast will fall. It'll end up at the distribution level. And that's why the energy sector, in coordination with us, has a robust mutual aid program where we can get the resources from where they exist to where they're needed most.
Is there, and we talked, I think we said 50,000 people are going to be mobilized or something. Is it, I mean, these people have the same problem. They lose power, too, and they've got to get to these spots on bad, icy roads. Do we do anything special for them? Because I know I look outside and I see them at all hours of the day working when we have these terrible, catastrophic power outages when there's snow and ice. Does anyone do anything special for them?
We do. We have, the energy sector has a robust mutual aid network where they will pull line workers, other emergency response personnel from places where there isn't as much impact to places where there is impact. And so when I mentioned the 50,000 personnel, they're pulling from regions that can deal with it right now, that can offer that support, and we will continue to do that. But do we give a bonus?
How about a bonus? I mean, I know we don't have a lot of money, but give them, because the hours are so punitive. And the conditions are so punitive, and I wouldn't want to touch a live wire if my life depended on it.
Absolutely. This is some of the most important work that exists in the United States, because we know the energy sector is foundational to everything else. It is the sector of the economy, as Secretary Wright says. It's not just a critical sector of the economy. You don't have energy, you don't have manufacturing, you don't have healthcare, you don't have transportation. The energy sector is absolutely critical to modern life, and so I'd be all for giving the great men and women in America's energy sector a raise.
What happened in Texas in 2021 that the electrical grid went on? I mean, what was the failing then?
It was a confluence of factors. I think if you take a look at the bulk power system is built to meet peak demand when it matters most. And that means you need reliable, dispatchable generation that the grid operators can rely on when it's needed. That's always on and available. I think what you saw in Texas, one of the major factors was that you had variable intermittent generation that does not get its capacity accredited by the grid operators, means you cannot count on it to meet winter peak demand. That went to zero. So that created significant strain on the grid in combination with lack of weatherization in the South and in Texas for natural gas infrastructure. And so since that major storm, there have been a lot of lessons learned in the energy sector to better weatherize and, crucially, and this is what President Trump and Secretary Wright have focused on, reversing the disastrous energy subtraction policies of the previous administration that resulted in the premature retirement of the exact kind of reliable dispatchable generation that we need to meet peak demand during winter storms.
Why aren't these wires underground? I mean, because I assume, or is there another sort of something else that would cause a lot of them to fail? But why do we put them up where they're going to get hit by ice and trees?
It's a great question. I mean, it is expensive. Some of them are underground. I think there are efforts underway. We should be investing in our transmission and distribution system to harden and secure it and weatherize it. That's absolutely true, because the most expensive thing that can happen to the energy sector are blackouts. Blackouts cost the American people $44 billion a year. That's why we need to invest in the most affordable, reliable, and secure energy system that we can.
When we have a massive power outage, I assume that it's prioritized that the hospitals get power before something else. I mean, do we prioritize it? I'm on a dead end, so I'm cooked always because I'm not near a hospital. I'm not near a police station.
Absolutely. There's robust operational plans that the energy sector is putting into action right now, that they work in close coordination with us and our interagency partners. We absolutely prioritize public health and safety.
So who gets it first? Who gets power first? How's it prioritized?
Well, as I mentioned, we prioritize public health and safety, national security assets, so hospitals are huge on the list, also telecom, and all of the supporting infrastructure, transportation, everything that's needed to have a robust response and recovery effort. That's where you want to focus the resources.
All right. My colleague says we're really going to get hit, Julia Fife. I mean, we're looking at that map. Do you have any information that can make me feel better that we're not really going to get hit and that maybe we're all just being hysterical?
Now, I think your colleague nailed it. This is a severe storm that will impact more than 200 million Americans. I think the most important thing is, as you said, we can't control the weather. We can only control how we respond to it.
Well, and I take it, I mean, FEMA's not in your department. That comes under Homeland Security. But I assume that you're coordinating with Homeland Security and all the other departments.
Absolutely. I just came from a meeting with the White House with our interagency colleagues. We are absolutely in close coordination.
Well, this is a time we want the government to be wrong. We don't want you to have to be right on the weather. We don't want Julia to be right on the weather, because it does look catastrophic. And, and especially for people, older people, people with health problems. I mean, there are a lot of people, the rest of us can, roll up in blankets and stuff. But, boy, I do feel sorry for the people who don't have the means. A lot about the homeless. That's really rough. But anyway, enough of that. Anyway, United States Acting Undersecretary of Energy Alex Fitzsimmons, thank you very much for joining me, sir.